Oh gosh. Is it what? You're gonna do the setting. Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas.
And I'm Sal Cosenza.
And welcome to Abstract Essay. Another week, another episode, another painting of Mr.Sal that we gonna scrutinize.
Yes, and before we start, Daniel, how was your week? And what was one creative thing you did this week?
Creative thing. I'm planning to do my volume 301 abstract essay. What will be the title? I'm still thinking. The mystery of the universe. Can you give me a suggestion?
That's a good way to put it. Like titling anything it requires like a cup of coffee or some other kind of drink and a few days, and yeah, I'm the same way with titles. I know artists who untitle, like nothing is titled, but I agonize and stress over the title of whatever I'm working on. You're the same way.
Yes. I did my 300 volumes by thinking, what will be my next title? Oh, so first thing, I will Google it, what's in my mind. So, okay, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Just like Supernova or
Ooh.
Spectra or what else? Mystery of the Universe. Oh, I want to plug in. Please do grab a copy of my 300 volumes abstract essay available where books are sold. So please do. This is in honor of this podcast, the creation of Daniel Lucas abstract painting. Ah,
Yes.
thank you so much. If you already viewed or you're planning to buy, please do support me because more volumes to come. How about you,
Yeah.
Mr. Sal? What did you do
One
for this week?
one creative thing I did this week was
Yes.
survive my first week back at school teaching. I can't believe I'm here right now, actually. It was intense, I'm excited to be back. The students are excited, but I wasn't prepared for, that 6 a.m. wake up on, Tuesday
In the
morning when,
morning.
you know,
I know, I
but,
know. I know the
but I'm
feeling.
back. I'm back. I'm ready to go. I'm well rested now, So
Yes.
that was an art unto itself, was just surviving.
Surviving. That's awesome. So, Professor Sal, what will be our
Our next.
masterpiece?
Well, and I want to always say, Daniel, I want to just reflect my gratitude. I want to express gratitude for you allowing me to continue to show my works to people, and
Yes.
talk about them, because it's really interesting to spend a few years away from something you've made and sort of revisit it and reflect on that time and place. So, having said that, let me go ahead and share screen.
Let's do a drum roll.
I can't do it. Do you see
Wow.
that? Okay. I know
Yes.
it's not the greatest sketch in the world. I'm not gonna, say that it anything otherwise. But so this is taking me back to 2021 again. A lot of the works I showcased so far were from the pandemic era. And again, it just sort of reminds me how I was super productive during that time, and I guess we all were, right? We all had
Yes.
something we had to do to fill the day, right? And especially during the lockdown period. Um, and so this was a trilogy, kind of like the others that I had shown, right? You had the Windows to the Soul trilogy, you had the House trilogy, you had the Manuscape trilogy that our previous episodes cover. But this was the first of that batch, that sort of COVID trilogy collection, let's call it. And I think I was reading up on AI, as we all do, as right, AI is not, it's still relevant, it's more relevant than ever. And so I think I was reading an article on AI, and then I was relating it as best I could to, like, what is AI, and obviously robots start to pop into my head. And I always told myself, I love robots, I love droids. I'm a big like
Yes.
Star Wars buff, right? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe I'll make a series. It became a trilogy, but a series of robots, and then what could they be doing? Well, in a world of AI, that's an anthropomorphic challenge. So what if I do like robots in love, right? And so I just started jotting down these sketches. You can see one of them here on the screen for those who are able to view this. And it's this robot sort of holding some sort of abstracted, element in his hands. It's like levitating elements. In the back, you have these floating hearts. Um, at that time, I was interested for some reason in these sort of heart vehicles, right? Like basically like the Death Star, but the opposite of the Death Star. So they're all about, peace and and harmony and
Harmony.
love. Yeah, so I had this robot in the front with this sort of fin-like nose design, sort of based on the Rocketeer. I don't know if anyone remembers that movie from the early 1990s, The Rocketeer. And he had this very distinct, I thought like an Art Deco styled design to his mask. So I wanted to bring some of that in to the silhouette of this, or to the profile of this robot here. So I created this one. This would have been like volume one. Then volume two, I needed his sort of robot companion, right? So
Mm.
here she is. She's got almost like a heart-shaped droid face. She's got these sort of circuit board hair coming out of her droid face. And I was just thinking about design, right, and anthropomorphic sort of humanoid shapes. Again, she has these sort of strange abstracted triangles, right, and so the triangles become a symbol of something. And this angle, I remember I was inspired by Alfred Hitchcock. He's got that classic, I don't know the correct term, the cinema term for it, but it's when you look at a character in a movie and it's from like their belt waist or their waist and it looks up at them. And so this was that sort of camera angle technique I wanted for the second one, volume two. And then volume three would be obviously some sort of a love connection, right? They meet each other, right? So these were some really raw sketches for that third one. And then, so what do they look like when they're all together? Well,
Wow.
they get much more colorful, right? So
Yes.
here's the first one. I called the series Resilient Love. So the Resilient Love trilogy, volume one, volume two, and volume three. Um, Started them, I would say, around February and completed them in March of 2021. I wanted to complete them all and release them all at the exact same time. So when they were finished, they were exhibited at Art One Gallery. And I'm very grateful and happy to say that each one of them sold to in this case, to a different client.
Yes.
This one that you're looking at, I I actually know of two of the three clients. This is my friend who lives in Washington State. His name is Jordan. He's a veteran. I knew him since high school. He's also very creative. He's an amazing photographer, and he had told me that he bought this piece and he put it in the bedroom of his newborn daughter. So I was
Wow.
really honored, really honored that he had done that. But here you have the sort of floating heart, sort of vehicles in the back. I added this little, this strip, these strips on them to sort of make them look a little more uh, industrial, right? But they're these floating sort of objects in space. Here you have our robot with his Rocketeer style, stainless steel or chrome face. Here's those strange, Doritos, those white Doritos that represent maybe some sort of, call in the wind. Notice how they're like blowing away from the robot. So maybe the robot is releasing them and hoping that they, receive a recipient on the other end. And so as we look to the second one, we can see those triangles, those Doritos, right, being either received by or released by this, the robotic companion. And here she is in all her glory, right? So she's got this. There's the circuitry. Um, I thought, the idea for the design was very skeletal,
Yes.
but also very robotic. So their hands, right? They almost look like bones, like human hands. Um, and I had fun with it. And yeah, here's the angle again. These skies, during that time especially, I was really into skies that are painted like this, sort of um, dynamic, right? You've got this mix of clouds and storminess happening with sort of, large, big pops, big bursts of orange and red and other warm colors, right? So you see the same thing here, but the angle's a little different. And then the payoff image is this one here. Let me zoom in a bit. This is volume 3. And this one is a different dimension altogether. In fact, all three of them are different dimensions, which was which was something that I didn't really want to do that for the successive trilogies that I would make. So, in past episodes, those are all the same dimension. Each one of those is the same dimension. This one, they're a lot more varied, right? So this one is 8-inch by 24-inch. It's a very sort of widescreen sort of display, right? But here you are. Here's our lovers, right? They finally made a connection. Here they are, sort of over this very bucolic pastoral landscape. You see these sort of green fields below, and then above you have this sort of kaleidoscopic display of the various hearts sort of floating. Different atmospheric levels are applied, right, to give it a little more, I guess, realism and believability in this strange, fantastical world. But, what world is this? We don't really know. Is this a post-human, post-AI, takeover world? I don't know. But I want to just get it on the record, and Daniel, you're with me on this, right?
Yes.
We're pro robot.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
robots, please, you have friends in us. So
Yes. Who knows, robot will help us to find another planet for us.
that would be even better, right?
Yes, because we cannot survive from other planets. So they will discover for us. They will cultivate for us. And thank God Mr. Elon Musk is materializing. Ah,
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
we need to go outside our planet, people, or our solar system. We need to live, and our we need to scatter our generations, because
Yes,
sooner or later all this one will disappear. So we need to preserve
I
it.
know. I know.
Don't
I'm
cry, Mr. Sal. Don't cry.
Well, so sustainability. See, now
Yes,
I'm giving like a lecture to my.
yes,
This is what my students have to
yes,
hear. So
yes.
there's
Go
something
ahead,
called
Professor.
yes, there's something called CCSIs, which are
Yes,
climate change sustainability issues,
yes.
CCSI, and they
Mm.
involve environmental uh, issues, and they also involve social ones. So there are two types of issues sort of affecting our world in terms of sustainability. There are social ones and there are ecological ones or environmental ones. The more you know.
The more you get.
Yes. But
So, Miss,
anyway,
yes. Anyway, so Mr. Sal, what inspired you to do this painting of yours, Resilient Love?
yeah, I was thinking my love of robots, my love of sci-fi. I'm a
Mm,
big science fiction fantasy buff. Again, sort of raised on Star Wars. When I joke about this with my mom all the time. When I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, I was watching the movie RoboCop,
yes.
which if anyone has seen RoboCop, it's not a movie for 7 or 8 year olds, but you know,
There's a series too, right? If I'm
yeah,
not
there
mistaken.
is. Yeah, there's the
Mm,
RoboCop series. But
movie.
and it's such a violent, hyper violent movie. But guess what? I I feel like I'm glad I saw it at a young age
Yes.
because it helped sort of in its little small way, it helped shape my own creativity because I remember loving the suit design, like what they did with that sort of visor and that like metallic blue, that silvery blue uh sort of dome-like helmet. I always loved the design of RoboCop, and I'm glad I saw it at a young age. Would I show it to
Inspired
my
you.
kids? I don't know, we'll have
Probably
to think.
yes.
Probably I will. Yeah.
So, what technique did you use to create this resilient love?
Yeah, so I don't know if I don't think I can share it because I can't share multiple tabs at once, but I dug up this old time-lapse video and I filmed it, creating all three backgrounds in one sitting. It was the first time that I sort of kept a timer when I was painting them because I'm notorious for painting very slowly. I take my sweet time, and I really don't mind doing that, but I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted
Yes.
to sort of get them done as soon as I possibly could, right? And so I did. So one technique was the time lapse technique, which I
Yeah.
was starting to uh, use more and more at that time. The rest are, tiny little brushes. For the background, the skies, right? I would use obviously larger brushes. And then for the details on the sky, I would add more pointy brushes. And then for the robots and all of them, usually I draw them on the canvas. I'm giving away a trade secret. No, I I would I would draw a pencil first on the canvas. I would
Yes.
pencil them out, and then I would paint on top of the pencil. But here's a here's a tip. If you're gonna draw the object on your canvas, if you when you're painting, don't use don't use most kinds of pens. Even this pen, which is one of my favorites, it's the maybe we could get a sponsor. It's the Uniball
Yes. Yes.
Uniball Vision Elite. I've used these for years. I love this pen because it draws well, it writes well. It's I mean, look at this. It's just like it just flows off. It's a wonderful
Yeah.
pen. Anyway, but it's not good for drawing on a canvas because the second you add water and paint to it, it's going to bleed and
Oh.
it's going to stain the rest. So I recommend always just going with graphite um, for that. And don't use Sharpie either, because Sharpie will sometimes you can't cover it with paint. It'll like seep through the layers of paint, and it's hard to remove.
Oh, trade secret.
Trade secrets. And for 19.99 a month, I'll give you five more. No, just kidding. No,
So,
no.
what challenges did you face during the painting?
Challenges, well, that self-imposed sort of timeline or time constraint, I should say, was one challenge. These were really small paintings. I'm used to working fairly
Yes.
larger, and
Yeah.
so that was a bit of a challenge. I think in retrospect, I would not paint that small anymore. Um, what were other challenges? I guess that was it. The rest was just staying sane during that time, right? Again, it was during the height of the COVID lockdown, and
Mm.
that weighs on anyone, right? And that weighs on what you're creating at that given moment in time. Let's hope we never have a pandemic again.
So
But
if you have a pandemic again, you're gonna do the fourth one, yeah? Fourth painting of this.
I
Resilient love.
I'll think of something. Yeah, and maybe the title came from that. I don't know.
Resilient.
I don't know why I was thinking resilient love. I can't remember where that title came from, but it must have had to do with just being resilient during that time. I think that was probably it. But
Yes. For the time of pandemic. So
yeah,
before we go, Mr. Sol, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Book 101 Review, and its fifth season, People fifth season. And please
yes.
do. Yay! I this time with
Applause.
Africa say applause. Yay! Thank you so much for supporting Book 101 Review. It's number 3 best art book podcast. Thank you so much, and I hope you
Nice.
will continue listening. I'm aiming for 1 million downloads. Just like my Food 101, we did 1 million downloads last year. So thank you so
Wow.
much, Food 101. Thank you so much for those people listening. And of course, Book 101 review, as I'm saying, uh, my feature author of the month of December, award-winning and best-selling author, Mr. Hurry Turtle Dove. So please do listen. Book 101 review. And Mr. Sal, do you have something to promote?
Nothing to promote. I mean, my book is
Manhattan
out.
Rising.
Yeah, so Manhattan: The Rising War is out. Going forward, I'm starting to think about audiobook ideas. I
Yes,
know
let's
Daniel,
do.
you had
Let's do that.
mentioned it as well, and so that could be in its future. I want to really, do it right. I'm thinking, George Clooney. Who else? No, just kidding. I need an all-star voice cast.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do materialize your audiobook. It's something else. Something experience that. Oh, it's so easy to do, but well, your voice will.
Yeah.
It's some.
I would just say this. I would challenge everyone listening today and watching today to challenge yourself with something creative this week. If
Yes.
it's like a sketch a day, or you have a novel or a short story or a poem in mind, just make it happen. Just start it if you feel any reluctance. Just do it, and then you'll never know where it's going to lead.
Oh yes. I want to promote also my ebook, people. It's dropped to 0.99 cents. So please do grab a
Well,
copy of all my ebook on Amazon. Please.
the abstract essay series.
Yes.
Yes. Celebrating its 300th
Yes,
volume.
300 volumes and 301 is coming soon. So please
What's
do.
what's the Latin? Maybe you should subtitle it like the Latin word for 301 or something.
Yeah, what is the
Give it like,
Latin? What's
I
the
don't
Latin?
know. We'll have to look it up, but I'm sure it's like a profound
Me.
sounding, word.
That's awesome. So suggest Mr. Sal. So to wrap up our discussion, Mr. Sal, what else you can say about resilient love?
Resilient love. Well, I'm happy I made it. Like every painting that I produce, I can't believe I finished it. It's kind of it's always bizarre when you're done with it. The process of making it is always such a thrill, and then it ends, and you're like, oh my goodness, I actually finished it. So
So fast.
yeah, and the second one I think was in a mayor's office. One of my good friends was actually the mayor,
Yes,
um, and so during his time in office, he had the second one in his office on display, and I was honored at that. You
that's
never know where
awesome.
these paintings you produce are going to end up.
Yes. So people will encourage you to create something this week and share to the
Absolutely.
world like Mr. Sal and I.
Yes, and make a website, folks.
Yes, make a website and publish all these things, your creation.
Absolutely.
because this is for our generations to come.
Hmm.
So again, people, Mr. Sal, do you have a website to promote to?
Just
Your website.
you could check my work out at salcosenza.com. Follow me on all the fun social medias. I'm on Instagram. I love hearing from you. Email me, contact me with what are you working on? I'd love to see it. I'd love to even give feedback if you want feedback.
Yes, definitely. And people, Food 101 website, www.food101.ca if you want to learn recipes or something else about food. So,
Yes.
Mr. Sal, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a great week.
Have a great week, people. More to come, people. See you soon.